All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Think of this as our one-on-one strategy session. I'm going to act as your advisor, and we're going to lay out the exact step-by-step roadmap for building your wealth. You know what drives me absolutely crazy? Watching people throw money at the stock market like they're just feeding coins into a slot machine, totally ignoring the massive holes in the bottom of their financial bucket. Today, we're fixing that. We're going to look at the optimal order for investing your money. It's a sequence that can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. But look, before we invest a single dollar of your money, we need to address a pretty shocking reality check. The median amount Americans have saved for emergencies right now, it's just $500. Actually, wait, that's down from $600 just last year. I mean, $500 is less than most people's monthly car payment. And the data shows 1 in 3 Americans doesn't even have an emergency fund at all. None. And yet, a lot of these exact same folks are the ones asking me if they should be buying individual tech stocks or crypto. Look, skipping the foundational steps to play the market is exactly like this quote says. It's like asking if you should buy a Ferrari when you don't even have the money to fix the broken transmission in your current car. We have to build your financial house on bedrock, not quicksand. You wouldn't go picking out fancy chandeliers if your roof was literally caving in, right? So here is the highly structured client roadmap we're following today. We'll hit building your financial foundation, eliminating high-interest debt, capturing guaranteed free money, the tax optimization zone, the ultimate HSA strategy, and finally, entering taxable investment accounts. Listen, I literally cannot stress this enough. The absolute secret to this plan is sticking to this exact sequence. People want to skip ahead because, frankly, foundation work isn't as thrilling as picking the next big stock. But doing these out of order, that's practically guaranteed to destroy the gains you'd otherwise make. The opportunity cost of getting this wrong is massive. So we're going to do the boring stuff first. All right, step 1, building your financial foundation, the psychological safety net. Our absolute first priority on this roadmap is establishing that emergency fund. Now, I always recommend starting with a rapid, achievable goal. Save your first $1,000 as fast as you humanly can to cover those minor bumps in the road. Once you hit that, scale it up to 1 month, and then keep building until you've got about 3 months of living expenses tucked away. And this number here brilliantly illustrates why this matters so much. Vanguard research proves that having just $2,000 in emergency savings boosts your financial well-being score by a massive 21%. That was the single largest boost linked to any factor they measured. It gives you this crucial psychological safety net. So, when your transmission actually does break down, you aren't forced to sell off your investments at a loss or rack up credit card debt. Which brings us right to step 2, eliminating high-interest debt, stopping the bleeding. Okay, once your safety net is set, we have to immediately eliminate any financial cancer. For our purposes, I define that as any debt charging you over 8% a year. The ultimate villain here? Credit card debt. It averages around 22% right now, and that grows faster than almost any reasonable investment return you could ever hope to make. As your advisor, I really need you to see the math on this. Carrying just $5,000 in credit card debt and only making minimum payments, that's going to cost you nearly $2,800 in pure interest over 5 years. Trying to invest while carrying that kind of burden is literally like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. That's your money that could have been working for you, actively working against you instead. So how do we fix it? We're going to attack those balances using the debt avalanche method. You pay minimums on everything and then throw every single extra dollar at the debt with the highest interest rate. Why? Because mathematically speaking, paying off a 22% debt is a guaranteed 22% return on your money. Just think about that for a second. Every dollar you throw at that balance earns a guaranteed return that crushes even Warren Buffett's historical long-term averages. It's a no-brainer. Moving on to step 3, capturing guaranteed free money, the employer match exception. Now, there is exactly one major exception to the rule about paying off your high-interest debt before investing, and it's so incredibly critical it gets its own step. If your employer offers a retirement match, you have to pause that aggressive debt payoff just long enough to capture that match. The power of this is it's wild. An employer match is often a guaranteed 100% immediate return on your investment. If they match 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of your salary, ignoring that is literally leaving free money on the sidewalk. Money your employer was perfectly happy to hand over to you. Just remember to keep a close eye on your company's vesting schedule to make sure you actually get to keep those matching funds if you end up changing jobs. All right, the high interest debt is completely gone. Now we officially enter step 4, the tax optimization zone, IRA versus 401k. Now, this is the phase where people usually get distracted by the shiny, trendy stuff. But nope, we are going to ruthlessly maximize your tax-advantaged options first. We start by maxing out an individual retirement account, an IRA, which lets you put in up to $7,000 for 2025, before you funnel more money into your 401k. Why do we do this? Well, an IRA gives you total control to pick low-cost index funds. On the flip side, 401k management fees can quietly eat away at your returns over time like termites in a wooden house. So let's whiteboard a choice that honestly keeps a lot of financial advisors employed and ordinary folks pretty confused: traditional versus Roth. It really just boils down to, do you want to pay the IRS now or later? Younger clients in lower tax brackets should generally lean Roth, right? Lock in those low rates today. Conversely, if you're a peaker, you might lean traditional to drop your current tax bill. Or, hey, if you aren't totally sure, just split it down the middle to build some brilliant tax diversification for the future.
Okay, step 5, the ultimate HSA strategy, the Swiss Army knife.
If you happen to be eligible for a high-deductible health plan, oh man, we get to use what is arguably the most underutilized wealth-building tool in America, the Health Savings Account. The HSA is an absolute Swiss Army knife because of this triple tax advantage. You get a tax deduction on the money going in, the money grows totally tax-free while it's invested, and any withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are completely tax-free on the way out. But here is the ultimate insider strategy. Instead of spending that money now, pay your current medical expenses out of pocket if you can't afford to, save those receipts, and let that HSA money compound in the market for decades. You can literally reimburse yourself 20 years from now, completely tax-free.
The math on this strategy is just stunning. Let's say you max out an HSA for 30 years and hit a pretty standard 7% return. You could amass over $400,000 completely tax-free. And that is massive because it totally neutralizes the estimated $300,000 that an average couple is going to spend on healthcare during their retirement. It essentially takes those massive costs and just makes them disappear from your retirement budget entirely.
And finally, we've arrived at section 6. Entering taxable investment accounts, the Wild West.
Notice how far down our roadmap this actually is. Only after you've grabbed your employer match, maxed your IRA, your HSA, and the rest of your 401k limit, only then do I give you permission to enter the Wild West of taxable accounts, where there are zero contribution limits. I really need you to understand the devastating cost of what we in the industry call tax drag. Check this out. If you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years at 7%, a tax-advantaged account will yield about $944,000. But in a taxable account, paying taxes on your dividends and capital gains every year along the way is like trying to run a sprint while someone is pouring sand into your shoes. You end up with closer to $700,000. That's practically $250,000 lost forever just to tax drag. That being said, once your financial foundation is rock solid, these taxable accounts do become incredibly valuable to us. Their biggest asset? Unlimited flexibility. They don't have withdrawal restrictions like retirement accounts do, so they can provide that essential bridge funding if you're planning to pull the trigger on an early retirement. Plus, they offer what's called a step-up in basis when you pass away, which is an absolutely incredible estate planning loophole to pass wealth down to your kids completely tax-free.
So here's the crucial takeaway from our advisory session today. Every single step of this sequence builds a financial house that gets infinitely stronger over time. The challenge is yours. Are you ready to hunker down and do the boring foundational work first to mathematically guarantee your progress? Or are you going to keep treating your financial future like a shiny slot